Coming up, learn how Omaha's bus system is changing its leadership.
Then see how women are shifting today's local economy.
Finally, take a look inside Omaha's first professional sports team.
All this and more on the Omaha News.
Good afternoon, I'm Ben Copeland.
And I'm Dayton and Sarah.
The 40-hour work week has been standard in the U.S. for more than 8 decades. Now, some members of Congress want to give hourly workers an extra day off. Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont introduced a bill that would shorten the amount of time Americans can work each week before being owed overtime from 40 to 32 hours. Critics say mandated shorter week would enforce many companies to hire additional workers or lose productivity. Employers would be prohibited from reducing their workers' pay and benefits to match their lost hours. This bill is reminiscent of a previous bill almost passed in 1933, which would have shortened the week to only 30 hours.
Omaha's bus system, Metro Transit, will be holding board elections for the first time in the upcoming May primary. Reporter Ben Badafarano says that the shift is part of a larger effort to reflect Metro's ridership.
Metro's governing board voted to move Metro to an elected board system, starting in 2024. Historically, the board has been appointed by the mayor. The shift will allow Omaha citizens a say in who makes mass transit decisions. Board members will represent 7 districts and will be responsible for reviewing large policy and financial decisions. Metro's Transit Advisory Committee, or TAC, is a volunteer citizen committee that was established in 1976. Like Metro's governing board, TAC members used to be appointed, but are now selected by application. The co-chair of the committee, Cedric Ludlow, says the new election and application model helps better represent the community.
So by bringing it back to the people of the city, it allows them to actually get feedback that is both timely and relevant to the people who use the system.
With Omaha's growing population, Metro's ridership is continuing to expand. The Omaha Rapid Bus Transit Service, known as Orbit, is Metro's rapid bus line down Dodge Street. Since its launch in November of 2020 through this past January, Orbit has had over 1.5 million rides. Metro's Senior Manager of Communications and Community Relations, Nicole Ebot, says that several of the districts will be competitive.
It is nonpartisan, so it's not like you're running for the Republican seat and the Democrat seat like a lot of things are. So just the top 2 vote getters move on to the general election after the primary.
Information on candidates can be found at the Douglas County Election Commission website.
The election primary is on Tuesday, May 14th, with the general election on November 5th.
Ben, did you get a chance to ask about general public opinion of the changes?
Yes, as I've said, the Metro bus system has been constantly growing with more riders using it each year. Not only does this give more voice to those who use the system, but it also makes sure beneficial decisions are made and passed with more efficiency than before. And with the growing city needing to get around, this system appears to be a mutual win for both the city and its citizens.
Thanks, Ben.
Well, the latest statistics show that a local group of collectors has been on the rise recently. This group has been collecting Hot Wheels for almost 2 years. Omaha resident Trenton Dabendike started his journey of collecting in 2022 and has already acquired over 850 Hot Wheels, a popular miniature car brand that debuted in 1968. Dabendike says he started to play with the cars at a young age.
For my spare time, obviously my love of cars played into that, and then I found out that they have like different grades of like level of difficulty of finding them. Like there's treasure hunts and super treasure hunts, which are like the rare and ultra rares of the Hot Wheels community. I tried to find more and more of those, and trying to find those is what really drove me to become such an avid collector.
Dabendike also says that making friends motivates him to keep this hobby. Cars that he has bought for only $1 now resale upwards of $200. There are almost 100 collectors in Omaha so far, and most of the community also collects Matchbox cars, vehicular Lego sets, and Motor Max cars.
Coming up next on the Omaha News, we'll explore the therapeutic benefits of music for people with dementia.
Then we'll show you how women are impacting the local economy. Don't go anywhere.
Create, perform, communicate. College of Communication, Fine Arts, and Media.
Nearly 3,000 student athletes competing in 19 varsity sports from 9 institutions. Compete for nationally ranked teams to become academic All-Americans and NCAA champions. Nearly 100,000 students and more than 800,000 alumni celebrate their schools as they rise to reach the summit. The Summit League, where tomorrow's leaders reach the summit today.
The University of Nebraska at Omaha's bookstore is home to more than books. The UNO bookstore accommodates all students' needs with phone and laptop repairs at the iFix UNO station or free residence hall delivery. The bookstore, located in the Milevale Student Center, is full of Maverick merchandise. Find sweatshirts for chilly Nebraska days or cozy UNO mugs for every coffee fix. Shop anytime at unobookstore.com.
Somebody punch the camera. Good curling.
The Guts World Tour is the second concert tour from popular musician Olivia Rodrigo. The tour recently made a stop in Omaha. Reporter Peyton Hollybeck shares more on the impact of the tour on the local economy.
Olivia Rodrigo's recent sold-out show in Omaha is just another example of women dominating the economy. 2023's The Year of the Girl was made by similar events such as Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour, Beyoncé's Renaissance World Tour, and Greta Gerwig's Barbie, which were all record-breaking events due to their passionate female audiences. According to touring data, Rodrigo's Guts Tour is expected to gross over $80 million, which in turn brings commerce and jobs to the communities she visits.
We have hundreds of event staffers that work for every single event to help ensure that people get in okay, find their seats, run concessions, and make sure that they overall have a positive experience when they come and enjoy a show.
According to LinkedIn, women control over $31 billion in global spending. It's events with large female audiences like Rodrigo's Guts Tour that contribute to women controlling over 70% of consumer spending.
Lately, we've been seeing more of a shift where women are becoming more comfortable spending money on themselves. And a lot of that has to do with because they've been the primary spenders, they have a lot of shame with spending. They have a lot of shame with it. They feel that their spending is more frivolous, but there's definitely been a shift, especially with Taylor Swift. We see women spending money on Taylor in droves.
According to Time magazine, Swifties are spending an additional $1,300 to $1,500 for their Eras Tour shows. This includes things like merch at the concert, making outfits, and crafting friendship bracelets.
Women are becoming more comfortable in their identities and finding their interests, not as frivolous, not as silly. And we've really seen this resurgence of girlhood and taking that back.
Foster says women are most likely to spend their money in spaces where they feel seen and where they feel heard. Nielsen Statistics projects women will dominate over 75% of discretionary spending by 2028. This means women will be in control of the economy by deciding where they're going to spend their money. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Peyton. A group of string instrumentalists are partnering with UNMC to explore therapeutic effects of music on autobiographical memories in dementia patients. As Dayton and Sarah explains, the platform is called Nebraska Hearts, where musicians can engage with their community and make a difference.
Nebraska Heartbeats was developed by UNO's Maverick Quartet and professionals from UNMC. Clinical neuropsychologist and associate professor at UNMC, Dr. Waisheli Fatak, says there is a goal to their study.
The goal of this project is to see if our long-term memories are conserved even in these early stages of memory loss that you see in people who are perhaps starting on a stage of Alzheimer's disease.
The research project hypothesizes that dementia patients have preserved memories and music can assist in triggering them. Dr. Fatak says music hasn't been studied much.
All of us have always enjoyed it and known it's important, but it hasn't been studied in science. So it's quite an exciting time right now that there's funding available, there's interest in the scientific community to be able to study it.
According to the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services, the prevalence of dementia has been steadily increasing over the past decade, highlighting the need for innovative approaches to care. The Nebraska Heartbeats research plan is to look at individuals with mild cognitive impairment. UNO Associate Professor and String Studies Coordinator Mary Perkinson says that certain songs will be chosen for the participants.
Right, we're going to play things that are calming and soothing and that listeners can relate to. And so we're also not going to play things that are super high or super low, because studies show that it's within this mid-range that helps people feel more calm and settled.
As we confront the growing prevalence of dementia and Alzheimer's disease, it's essential to prioritize awareness and research funding to combat these diseases.
If you are interested in being part of Nebraska Heartbeats program, there may be a possibility to help in the research. If interested, reach out to mperkinson@unomaha.edu.
The Durham Museum welcomed new exhibit Toytopia last week. The display features toys from throughout the ages. Reporter Samantha Pastorino got a first look at the exhibit.
Whatever toy defined your childhood, the Durham's Toytopia exhibit has it. From Pac-Man to Barbies, this hands-on display is sure to bring up nostalgia for all generations. Director of Communication for the museum, Dawn Myron, says the exhibit is a blast from the past.
Every time you turn around, you're going to see a toy that you played with, your grandparents played with, your kids played with. It's just going to be a ton of fun.
Toytopia, featured here at the Durham Museum, was created by Stage 9 Exhibits. This is one of Stage 9's premier presentations. It's even been featured internationally in Canada. The exhibit is also supported locally by Kiewit, Valmont, and McGill Restorations. Part of this exhibit features original Barbie dolls. It even includes the first ever doll to make it to market. Throughout the exhibit, you can find facts about the history of each toy. Toytopia attendees Michael Fay and Anna Speed got in on the fun with their daughter, recognizing toys from their generation and hers.
It was a lot bigger than I was expecting, so we could spend hours here if we had the time. Yeah.
What do you think, fun time?
Toytopia is being featured now through March 26th. Tickets are selling quickly, so make sure to get yours soon. For the Omaha News, I'm Samantha Pastorino.
In addition to Toytopia, this month the Durham is featuring Satterplay Lego Party and Recess at the Durham.
After the break, UNO's Athlete of the Week.
Then we'll get a look into Omaha's first professional sports team right after this.
The media landscape is vastly different from the past. Conglomeration and consolidation have changed the skill sets required to succeed. Journalists must not only know how to conduct research, interview, and write stories, but they also have to know how to shoot and edit the stories they tell. Likewise, creative media professionals must know how to interview, research, and write the stories they shoot and edit. In the School of Communication, we require students to gain experience and proficiencies employers are seeking. The two hardest mediated genres to produce are live sports and newscasts. Thus, once our students are taught the basics, they are given opportunities to improve the abilities at these genres. Capstones 1 and 2 feature the culmination of skill sets. Once students produce the Omaha News, they can use it in their demo reel to show their skills. From here, students can go anywhere.
I never thought I'd be standing in the clouds looking down on the ancient ruins of the Incan Empire. I never thought I'd live among the street artists in Valparaiso. I never thought I'd make friends that would last a lifetime.
Adventure's out there, and as Mavericks, it's up to us to find it.
Stop thinking, start doing. Visit educationabroad.unomaha.edu.
This is Omaha Sports, where we'll share the latest sports scores, triumphs, and stories you won't see anywhere else. Good afternoon. I'm Lillian Tiemeyer. First up, a recap of this week's sports. Sydney Thompson was named the Summit League's Ticketmaster Peak Performer of the Week after an unbeaten weekend. On Monday, UNO's very own Frankie Fiddler decided to enter the transfer portal and will weigh his options before selecting the team he will play for next year. And last night, the Mavericks baseball team lost 11-5 against their in-state rivals, the Cornhuskers. Our athlete of the week is over Kaylee Buckles, a freshman on the women's tennis team, and how she has been doing and how she has been having an exceptional season so far. I take you to see how she has been doing so far. From Louis, Missouri to Omaha, Nebraska, freshman Kaylee Buckles has been a top player for the Mavericks since she arrived on campus back in August. She has been competing like no other, being placed at the number 3 position and being undefeated in conference play so far by defeating University of South Dakota and Denver University. So far this season, she is 13-5 with her match play. But her winning record and competitive nature is not why head coach Adam Summit recruited her.
I went to go watch another player that happened to be playing her. And the one thing I noticed was between changeovers, these two opponents, they were talking to each other for about 5 minutes between on every changeover. And on a changeover, you're only allowed 90 seconds. And I kind of laughed and I said, not many people who are competing in a junior event would be this friendly with each other and talk. So that first told me how just probably good of a person she was and that she's very friendly and open, personable. I think that was big.
Kaylee has had an incredible first season as a Maverick. She has a unique playing style where she can compete against any opponent. Along with improving her tennis game, Kaylee says she has learned to improve her mental game to help her teammates have a better chance at winning matches.
Not getting so upset with myself because I feel like juniors tennis is just, you're kind of just by yourself during tournaments and like you lose one match and you think it's just like done. But I feel like here, you're not playing just for yourself, you're playing to give your team a chance at winning.
Kaylee Buckles is having an exceptional season so far. With only having 5 matches left in the season, we hope to see her end on a very high note. The women's tennis team compete this weekend in North Dakota against the Fighting Hawks, Sunday, March 24th at 10 a.m. The Maverick hockey fans, now is the time of the year to show the team your support over the weekend. Over the weekend, the Mavericks defeated Colorado College in a best-of-3 series to advance to the NCHC Frozen Faceoff for the first time in school history. After losing the first game on Friday, the Mavs managed to win the next 2 thanks to a goal by Brock Bremer in the third period. The Mavericks will face off against North Dakota on Friday with the hopes of making even more school history. A supernova is scientifically a bright and exploding star in space. In Omaha, the supernova name has a new meaning. Reporter Dale Johnson has the story.
The first professional volleyball team in Nebraska, the Omaha Supernovas, started their inaugural season this January. Gina Mancuso-Prasowski says she was lucky to be a part of the team's beginning.
My contract started in July. Really hit the ground running with the Omaha Supernova staff. We were literally everywhere, just trying to spread awareness and gain a lot of excitement and following for our upcoming season. But that part was easy because people love volleyball here, so getting a fan base early on was not too difficult.
Kaylee Jergensmeyer, a junior on the Maverick volleyball team, is a Nebraska native and has grown up going to volleyball games in Lincoln. She has always thought of Nebraska as a volleyball state.
I think it's just honestly like an honor for women that like volleyball is the first pro sport in Nebraska, and it just makes sense, I guess, that like the community and the support is there, so why not have it in Nebraska? So yeah, it's awesome.
The Supernovas are a part of the Pro Volleyball Federation League, which is the first professional league in the United States. Before this league, high-level players had to play overseas.
The Pro Volleyball Federation has done an amazing job in its inaugural season. I think that they've gained a lot of attention and a lot of following, and so I know that it is for sure expanding next year with 5 teams that have already committed. So we almost doubled our league in just 1 year, which is a true testament just to the success and the popularity of our sport right now.
The Supernovas play their home games here at the CHI Arena. They have set multiple professional volleyball attendance records this year. And last Saturday, they put themselves back on the top of the record board with an attendance of 12,090 fans.
That speaks volume. Like, we just love volleyball here. It's in our blood. There's something in our water. I don't know. But it's a really powerful thing. So it's definitely a home court advantage when we get to play at home.
Juergensmeyer says, as a player and a fan, she feels lucky to have the highest level of volleyball so accessible to her.
It's always been my dream to play Division I volleyball, and so like getting to this point and now knowing that like there is another level I could go if I choose to do that, and so just like keep working at it, and like volleyball will have the stage that it deserves, I guess. And so I think it's just awesome. Like, it makes me giddy to even think about that, like that stage is for women playing volleyball, doing the thing that I've been doing since I was 5 years old. So
For the Omaha News, I'm JL Johnson.
Gina Mancuso-Prosowski is currently on injury reserve because she is 5 months pregnant. She is serving the team any way she can at practices. Their next match is tomorrow night at the CHI's Health Center at 7 p.m. That's your sports for this week. I'm Lillian Tiemeyer. Be sure to join us for next sports update, March 27th, right here on the Omaha News.
There's a unique educational experience right here in Omaha. With access to top-rated programs, in-demand degrees, and a worldwide community of graduates, UNO prepares students for life, wherever it may lead. From Omaha to Italy to Uganda to Japan, Mavericks are working in communities around the globe. So where will a degree from UNO take you? UNO, access to exceptional, access to the world. Learn more at unomaha.edu.
Coming up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Faded breast to a full.
Once underground but now dominating social media, reporter Jerome Bradford looks at the impact of nerd culture in comic books.
Nerd culture. Yes, it's actually a term. Those who say they are one find comic books as a way of escaping real-world issues. In fact, an article in the magazine Medium insists we are all nerds now. That's right. If you enjoy a good Marvel movie or prefer the DC culture that is sweeping the world. Jeff Hilt says he fell in love with comic books when he was a teenager. It was a place he felt accepted. He passes his love of comics to his children and valued the different stages of comics in his life.
Grow as a person, as I became a young person who was getting ready to get married, as I became a parent, there was comics that spoke to that.
The global comic book market made $16.2 billion in 2023 and is expected to exceed $26.9 billion by 2032. In 100 years, comic books have saturated the U.S. market, jump-started by the superhero genre in the 1940s. Characters such as Superman, Wonder Woman, even Batman debuted. It was known as the golden era of comics. 40 years later, the Japanese art style known as manga was introduced to the world. Dragon's Lair manager Tom Miller says the industry requires lots of hard work, passion, and dedication to make it.
Fits in that realm as well, where those artists work just as hard as anyone else. They're going through schooling, going through training. There are even schools that are just for comic book artists.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe rocketed comic book culture into mainstream viewing. According to the entertainment website Screen Crush, both Avengers movies made $4.7 billion worldwide. For the Omaha News, I'm Jerome Bradford.
In the future, experts predict that comics will take a darker approach to society. While the MCU was family-friendly in its recent phases, stories with darker heroes such as Venom, Ghost Rider, and Punisher will appeal to a more mature audience.
That's all for today. Join us again next week for more news and entertainment in the Heartland.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at UNO The Omaha News, or find our website for even more news and stories at unoomahanews.com.
From all of us here at UNO Television, thank you for watching.
For me, it's about understanding the process of communication and what we learn through that process.
So something that you'll find within the School of Communication graduate program is that there is such a rich field of expertise.
I can think of no other discipline where we spend so much time focusing on not just one side of the conversation, but all sides of the conversation.
Not only do you get to work closely with other graduate students that come from all different walks of life, but you get to learn from graduate faculty that take those perspectives and help you grow yourself in a way that teaches you to be an academic, but also lets you be you in a really unique way.
I chose UNO very specifically, not just because I live here, I'm proud to represent here, but because I thought their program offered strengths that I didn't see in other programs.